Hello and welcome to the Results with Ronnie podcast series. I am Ronnie Walker, your master coach of exceptional relationships and sex. Episode 24, Dating to Win in 2021. They say we're closing out the year of 2020, and based on who you ask, there are incredible things that have happened, and then there are incredible things that happened. This is a year that will go down in the books. So, as I go into this list of things that I truly believe will help many of you, I want to say that this show is brought to you by ResultsWithRonnie.com and an incredible sponsor that I really truly look forward to having as we move forward with this series, Balance with Diana J. Now, without providing any spoilers, let me tell you something. The topics of this talk show are second to none. So I strongly suggest, you go to YouTube and look for Balance with Diana J, and you'll see the topics and the talk shows that you'll see there. You'll also find her on Facebook and Instagram. Diana Josephs is doing a wonderful job in covering topics that I truly believe are things that not only I, but many people have had throughout the years, but for whatever reason, playing it safe, fearful, they really haven't covered. And I love the way she covers it with such depth. So with that being said, I am truly honored to have you as a sponsor of this show, and I'm looking forward to great things with this and the Estates Real Estate Group. So, let's talk about dating to win in 2021. And what does it take? Well, if there's one thing that if you've been following me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and any of my other podcasts, I'm constantly saying how the rules of engagement and dating and relationships have changed. You see, things that were pretty much set in stone based on one's gender is now negotiable. We now have the internet, dating apps. We have day parties. I know it was just the nights. And let me just say, going back to the internet, there's so many things outside of dating apps people use to connect. Now, with that being said, you think from the posts of certain people on social media, they treat it as an anti-social media. And I think that's a missed opportunity for many. It's very, very important that you use this resource to build and to grow. And if you aren't getting all that you need to get out of that, then maybe change your filters, maybe change the spaces that you choose to spend time in. Also, I get it. Sometimes the internet is just a little too much to bear or spend time with when you feel that you're not doing enough on the offline world to build and grow. Because life in itself is, there's no perfect balance. So you want to make sure that you unplug from time to time for a little self-care. Shake a hand when it's safe. Share a smile. Have dinner, lunch. Take a drive. Hell, get on a motorcycle and just ride. Take a vacation. Alone. Take a vacation with someone that you care for. Family. Friends. That special someone. You never want to make one area the sole area in your life. And I think far too many people rely on social media, even though they'll tell you that's not them. I truly believe, as I read and I follow many people, it is a form of an extension of them. It gives them some space to say things that they normally wouldn't say. Some places you learn some things, and they share that growth with others. Some people have connected with family and friends that they haven't seen in years. So I truly believe that it is a source, a very good source of things that you can use to grow. But what about dating and relationships? I mean, as much as I talk about the social aspect of it, there are some times when relationships go awry online. I've seen some of the best intentions go sideways because the state of the person receiving them was not conducive to the overall picture of the person sending it to them. So it's very, very important that as you spend time online, that you really are in a good receptive state to receive the message, because again, you can find yourself typing things or going live on subjects that really are short of context and nuance. Because if there's one thing that I've learned on social media, is people love to give their opinions. They really, truly do. They really believe that they are the end-all, be-all of information. Now, there are times when, you hear me joke, but I really don't do so online so much as I do just in life. And people know me. I'll talk about me and my infinite wisdom. And really, I mean that in jest. Because if there's one thing I never want to do, is come across as some quote-unquote expert. At least for me, I truly believe that kind of gives the optics that there's nothing more for Ronnie to learn. And I just don't believe that. I really believe that there's so much more to learn and grow. What I think and speak of today, I know on certain subjects are different than what it was when I was in my 20s and 30s. If not just because of the way that I've looked at it, but just in the way things have changed, and I'm looking at it now with a different set of eyes and ears. Hell, there's one thing that I truly take pride in myself and my growth, is being able to listen to those that are older than me. And I don't care if it was in Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, New York, the West Indies, Germany, Colorado. I've had the privilege of speaking to people in many parts of the world. And one of the conversations that has always hit me the most are the conversations of older people who talked about a time when they're many years younger, or their first loves, school crushes that they had, and finding out that some of them married their schoolhouse crush. Some of them have stories of where during a prom they had the perfect opportunity, that this was the one they knew that they were going to spend the rest of their life with. And for some reason or another, it didn't happen. And I've heard these stories from both men and women. So this is just not one of those stories you see on Hallmark that happen just for women. No, these things happen to men. There are men that have let one get away. And if you notice anything about my page and what I've been speaking about all these years, is I never really focus only on women or only on men. I do believe there is, although even at sometimes, a balance. But as a man, there are just spaces that I feel more qualified to speak on than as a woman. But what's funny is that my platform was geared toward talking towards men. I really wanted to share so much with them, and I do, for those that tune in and listen. Like I said, there were things that I did and said in my 20s and 30s that I don't do any longer. There's some growth. There's accountability that I had to take. But if there's one thing that I never did, is I never made everyone the problem. I'm a quick learner. and I'm very good from learning from other people's mistakes. There are many cases that I just didn't think that I would be the exception to the rule. Now, some people call it fearful, some people call it playing it safe. Either way, I'm glad of the decisions I've made in my life. And I'd have to think very, very, very hard of any regrets that I have. I've had some incredible relationships that did not turn out the way that I'd hope. Some of them turned into friendships, but you know what? Most of them didn't. In either case, I'm okay with that. I'm a very happy and focused person. And one thing that I've been sure of in my journey of life is that if I have come across information or stories that I've grown from, I really make it a point to share it with others. Because I do believe that I'm not the only one in a particular situation at a particular time. And with the year 2020 being as it is, with all that is going on, I still want us to win in life and in love. I believe that is what keeps us together. Especially in the black community. Being a proud black man, I know there are things that we could be better at. But with that being said, I also know with everything in me that there are a lot of things that we are incredible at. There are incredible things that black women are at and do, and there are things that, of course, I believe they need to work on. But far too long I've seen this kind of division that's going on. And unfortunately, it's spilled off on into the internet. Now again, I'm not one to tell anyone how to live their life and share what they feel is their truth. But if I can provide something that I think will provide some sort of healing, some sort of closure, then that's what I'm going to do. I believe in love. I love love. I believe we were built for relationships. And there are times when I look online where I just see hurt people. And it's just one thing to say that, but it's another thing to provide what one believes are solutions to end that. And so, yes, there are a lot of people who made some very bad choices in their dating world. Made bad decisions in their relationships. But I do believe, with everything in me, that we can come back from mistakes. We have to. Because there's an incredible life out there, I believe, that you could profit from, be better at, grow from. We need to do this. We are all we have. So then, why don't we take the time to listen to others that want to share information with you? Now, does that mean you agree with everything? Of course not. If there's another thing that I've learned in my journey of life, is that I've never met a person that I agree with 100%. Some things are going to make sense to me. Some things aren't. Some things are going to apply to me, and others aren't. So what do? Well, we listen and learn. Learn what to do, and sometimes learn what not to do. The challenge that I see sometimes is that there's so many people finding reasons, which pretty much are excuses most of the time, about why they shouldn't listen to a particular man or a particular woman on a given situation. Too old, too young. They're married. They're divorced. They're single. They're in a relationship. You see, the thing about the truth or information that hold people accountable, and this goes for both men and women, is that if you're not really ready to receive it, trust me, you will find a reason that you shouldn't listen to it. Now, are there instances where the information may come to you too late? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. But I will say that there are many who do not listen to the information and wisdom shared. There seems to be this type of declining belief or reverence for age and wisdom. And I think that if you're going to grow, matter of fact, I'll say I know that if you're going to grow in your life, in your dating, and your relationships, and your sex life, that you're going to have to put your pride in your pocket and accept that you're not someone who knows everything. That the message, in so many cases, does not come up in the package that you believe it should be. See, many of you that are believers will pray and then still worry. You can't have it both ways. So take the time to listen. You just may learn something. So, what do you need to do to win in dating in 2021? Well, if what I just shared is any information, any indication, is you need to change your mindset. We know the old cliched saying that what is the definition of insanity? You're doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. You cannot grow doing the same things over and over and over. Now, there's a Ron who practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfection. But at the same time, you're not looking for perfection. Life is not perfectly balanced. I can assure you that you're always going to be some form of imbalance in some areas of your life. So if it seems to be perfectly balanced in your job, you may not have perfect balance at home, and vice versa. But you need to change your mindset. Many of you are taking yourselves out into the dating world, while at the same time believing that there's no one out there. They're all gone. They're all married. They haven't been born yet. The things that I hear people say and read what people write online just blows me away. You have to believe that there's someone for you. So if you're having a challenge with that, this is why I always stress, reach out. Go to resultswithronnie.com, book a consultation, book a coaching, and let's work on that mindset. Because if you don't fix this, I can assure you, you are not going to be successful in the world of dating. And whoever you meet, you're going to end up imploding the relationship. Also, everything else I'm about to list, it's not going to matter anyhow. Because if you go in with a limited mindset, well then, guess what? You're just pretty much manifesting what's not going to happen. And that is meeting someone. So what's the second thing? Change how you communicate. And by that, I mean this. Learn to pick up the phone and talk to people. I get it. We're in a new wave. Well, now it's not so new. But when you're looking at the way of texting, I can tell you how many times I've had to work on coaching friends, family, relationships, because someone texts something and the other receiving person took it the wrong way. And now you're in damage control. Now, what I have learned is that there are those who prefer texting. They're on the phone all day, on the computer screen. The last thing they want to do is have yet another conversation. Now, while I don't believe in any way, shape, or form this is something that you want to build a relationship on and, via text, because when we start talking about intimacy and the way you communicate, voice and tonality is a very intricate part of that. So if you have a person that prefers text and you're a person who prefers a phone call, then this is when the conversation ensues where you can meet a happy medium. And I can assure you, over time, the person is going to love to pick up the phone and hear your voice, because there's nothing like it. And this goes for both men and women. I'm not speaking, specifically to any man or any woman, just really both. I need you both to listen to this. Number 3, know who you are. If there's one thing that I find pretty common, is that a lot of people haven't done enough work on themselves. There may be some therapy that's needed, coaching, some closure that you felt that needs to be addressed. And I've spoken on closure in previous podcasts and interviews. But you need to know who you are. You need to give yourself some form of clarity. There are men that are holding on to the pain of a divorce 5, 10, 15 years ago. And then they want to involve a woman who's very clear on what she's looking for while dating. And you want to go with the flow. And then wonder why she doesn't want to stay around. Heal. Get better. Create a vision for what your life is to look like. You've been given free will to do what you want, when you want, how you want. Use it wisely. Put yourself in spaces with people that's going to help you stay focused, that's going to increase your desire to be better. Because, see, with this, you can create your standards and what you're looking for in a man or in a woman. So know who you are. Number 4, safety. There was a time where you can get a man, he asked you out on a date, and then he would show up at your door, sometimes flower in hand, ring the doorbell and pick you up. That's not the way things work now. And rightfully so. We just, in a world we don't know where anybody is mentally. And while there may be some way to check on some sort of background checks, let's just face it, some things fall through the cracks. So in this case, ladies, it may be in your best interest to meet the person at a designated place of the date. And then when you're ready to leave, be it early, if you feel the date is not to your liking, or maybe the other person feels that you haven't rung their bells. You see, you now have the ability to get into your vehicle and you can go home. Safely in your home with a person who doesn't know where you live. Because again, there are horror stories, trust me. And it's unfortunate that you don't get the opportunity to have a man pick you up and take you out. That comes later once you feel that there's some sort of vibe, connection. The energy is right, and you're trusting your intuition. But please be safe. Gentlemen, that goes for you as well. You've seen the videos. Women slashing tires, breaking windows, doing things online, slandering your name. And no, this doesn't just happen 2-3 years into a relationship. Sometimes it's happening during the courting phase. Someone who has some deep insecurities or some challenges that they haven't healed from yet, and they need to seek help. So yes, I've heard the horror stories of men after the first and second date, from women that just, oh boy, the stories are intense. So make safety a very high priority in dating in 2021. Number 5, something that, you didn't have to think about, but now you do. You know what is number 5? Know who's paying. Who's paying for the date? Now, normally, as we know, historically, men paid for everything. Picked her up, took her to dinner, dessert, beverages. If you went to a movie before or after or show, the men paid. That was also a different time back then because many women didn't work outside of the home. But now women are working. Women are making money. Women opening businesses. And many women, for their own safety, want to pay for half the meal or half the check. Now, I'm a strong believer that if you've asked someone out on a date, that you should pay from beginning to end. But again, as I said, some people are going to agree, some people aren't, and I get it. For women that has been asked out enough, and because they were taken to a place that is of a higher end, it costs more money to eat there, that men have a sense of obligation. So women thwart that by deciding that they're going to pay for their portion of the meal and the drinks. But again, who's right, who's wrong, I'll let you decide that. Now, usually when a woman pays, when she didn't expect to, well, that's a whole nother situation. But here's one thing I do know. Fellas, you can kiss that second date a goodbye. So gentlemen, especially, if you are of the 50-50 position when dating, please make it known immediately. Don't let her order the food and you're ordering food and then the check comes and then you're wondering where her part is. Now, as modern as women are, there are many that believe and still doing certain things traditionally. So find out who's paying. Number 6. This is important because if you really don't accept this point, then you'll become frustrated, and many of you will take yourself out of the dating game altogether. And that's taking time to reflect on the dates that did not go as planned. So what do I mean? Well, you could be feeling that person. You're thinking everything's wonderful. And this person did not. Or they're feeling you, you're not feeling them. Or you both are driving each other crazy, heck, even before the entree comes. You're arguing, you find out some things that maybe didn't add up with the conversation you had with him before he asked you out. Or men, she seemed to be one way when you were speaking to her, when you met her, which of course enticed you to ask her out for dinner, but then, over dinner, she seems to be a completely different person. Whatever the reason, and you know there's no second or third date, will take some time to really reflect on what you could have done different, or questions that you thought you didn't have to ask and now you realize you should have. Gentlemen, stop making the broad generalizations of women and look at this as a time to say, okay, this woman is this way, and she's different than the other two. But what did I learn from this? What could I have done better? And this is just purely for you, because sometimes just doing better doesn't mean the outcome is going to be any different. But it will if she's the right person. Seven, take some time in between dating. Maybe after 2-3 dating experience with different people, take a break if they didn't work out. Give yourself some time to reflect, self-care, read something, reach out to me and book a consultation. If you need some sort of synopsis of what you could have done better, that you can't see yourself, and you like some unbiased information, well, there you go. But take some time out. You don't want to burn out. And that's what happens to far too many men and women. They burn out. Either through pure bad experiences or great experiences that just didn't work in their favor. So take your time. Enjoy the date. Number 8, stay in a space of positivity. I get the cautious optimism. But see, to me, the key word is optimism. And I know sometimes, like, Ron, I've been with this attitude the past 11 dates. Doesn't matter. You still remain positive because he may be the one. Fellas, you want to stay positive because she may be the one. And one of the ways you stay in a space of positivity is not entertain people who've got nothing positive to say about the opposite sex. Many of you are listening to people that sometimes, let's face it, don't want to see you in a relationship. And then there are those that just believe that they are impossible to get. So why bother? And I beg to differ. Number 9, believe in marriage. I believe if we're going to build the communities and strengthen the communities the way they need to be, marriage is key. Now, I understand the position of men, and dare say some women, in terms of the same-sex marriage. And as we read the stats marriage is on the decline. I believe that's temporary. Just like I believe we're built for relationships, marriage is a true commitment. But you can't go into that situation with a limited belief. You're not going to find it. You have to remain optimistic that he's out there. And again, we're not talking huge $1 million ceremonies. I don't care if it's justice of the peace. I also understand men's concern and what they call, it's not the best word, but again, it doesn't favor men. So they really, truly are fading away. But you know what I also notice? And I share this quite often on my Facebook page, that there are a number of men getting on their knee and they're marrying the love of their life. And I'll keep posting it over and over and over. I'm going to work on your head. You're going to believe that there are men out there doing the right thing by the woman they're dating, the woman they're in a relationship with, and their children. I find far too many people are repeating tropes and memes from things that's been debunked 15, 20 years ago more. So I think it's important that we still believe in marriage. But if you're one of those who don't want to, then that's cool too. Again, I'm just sharing with you my journey in all of this. Number 10. How to approach this? With number 10, I need everyone listening to this to accept that in the right relationship, there's so much freedom in it. You get to be whoever you are for however you long to be that. This mindset of you're losing your freedom if you're in a relationship, I just don't buy that. This is important. Far too many things. And a lot of this is just said in jest. So you want to make sure and use your discernment that the person you are choosing to spend the rest of your life with understands, expects, respect where a person is in their journey and allow them to be that person. Now, I get it. Every decision, there are decisions that are made that, yes, you're no longer a single person. I get that. But that doesn't stop you from being the best you. And the right relationship with the right man or woman is going to allow you to be that. So don't look at a marriage as being tied down or old late. It's just no. And I don't believe that as a man we will attract quality women with that mindset. So again, know that relationships offer freedom, not a ball and chain. Number 11, give yourself permission to love. Many of you are holding back. You're fearful. You're scared. I get it. That's why courage is probably one of the most powerful parts in a relationship, because you'll see the highs of highs and lows of lows. It'll take you both to places that a lot of you couldn't imagine. You have to give yourself permission that if it doesn't work out, it's okay. 3-4 months into a relationship, things are not always going to go according to plan. There's going to be an argument or disagreement or whatever you choose to call it somewhere. But many of you are holding on to baggage that you need to let go. So if it's something that you need to go seek help with, then do that. But this woman, this man is committed to you. And you need to be the best you can be for them. Number 12. This is for single parents. Because it seems there's a lot that people have to say concerning single parent and dating. And while the dynamics are different, I believe single parents can still get married, of course. Now, based on where you are, it's important to know your demographics. So in other words, if you're looking for a particular type of man or a particular type of woman in a given state, you want to somehow do some research to see what is the likelihood that they're living there. Not just your county or counties, the whole state. You may be spinning your wheels. Look for someone that doesn't even reside nowhere near that state. So yes, position yourself accordingly by knowing the demographics in the market. There are men that will marry a woman with children. But there are a number of things that come into play, and I'll discuss that in depth on another podcast coming up soon. But because you're a parent, does that mean it's the end of the world? I just don't refuse to believe that. So whether there's a woman or a man that didn't have the ability to have children, or they have children the same age as yours. So becoming a blended family is a great thing. Again, certain standards are different, and there are those men who do not want women with children. And that's their right. Just like there are women who don't want to date men who have children. Especially if they have custody of the children. They don't. So, again, I believe there are a lot of wonderful, wonderful women with children. There are a lot of incredible men with children. And I truly hope that for all of you that are out there that are looking for love, I truly believe you'll find it. But just be honest and direct when you're in this situation and you're in spaces where there are men who are not feeling that. So you got to take a temperature and adjust yourself accordingly. And for this podcast, that is the last point I'm going to bring up for now. So as we close out 2020, prayers go out to any and all of you that lost a loved one because of COVID. Also to those who've lost loved ones, be they family member, friends, or even spouses. And boyfriends that they were dating and had a relationship moving towards marriage or something long term. Again, that pain is not easy. Some of you are celebrating the holidays with someone you thought was going to be there, and he or she is not. But 2020 has been a year of a lot of pain, but I also have found that 2020 has been a year of a lot of growth, success, pivoting for the right reasons. And I strongly suggest that you make the most of it. If it's not the best, I believe you can turn it around. And if it was good, I believe you can make it better. Ladies and gentlemen, dating takes work. More so now than ever. But just because it requires work, does that mean, I don't want that to mean that you give up. Or you take the path of least resistance through just enough. No. You need to go all out. You need to believe in love again. Very important. Lead with love. So as we close out, I want to thank you for this journey on this podcast series. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. I really, truly also enjoy the impact that it's having from people not even in this country, all over the world. People are writing in, people are calling in, and letting me know what a good job that I got. And I can assure you this show is going to grow and evolve in ways that's going to blow you away. But more than anything, I want to provide good content for you that you can grow with. I want your dating life in 2021 to be absolutely phenomenal. And brothers, I can assure you there are some incredible, incredible, incredible women. So stop believing all that BS about how hard it is to find these women. And that there's some elusive unicorn. There are a lot of incredible women out there. Ladies, there are a lot of incredible men out there. But like I said at the very top, you need to change your mindset. I want us to be in spaces that we can grow from and share ideals and what we need to do to be better people. First and foremost. I believe 2021 will bring you a partner that is going to completely blow you away. And I mean that for both men and women. So make yourself marketable. Yes, exercise. Maybe eat better. Take off some pounds. Learn a new language. There's so much you can do to be in much better shape to meet Mr. or Mrs. Right. Because again, we don't want to only pray for the opportunity. We want to pray that we're ready when that opportunity presents itself. So, again, thank you and all that you have done in your support of the show. And I wish you all a great, profitable, as well as an incredible, exceptional dating and relationship, and many, many, many hours of incredible sex and orgasms. My name is Ronnie Walker. Thank you to Balance with Dinah J Show. I am your master coach of exceptional relationships and sex. This is the Results with Ronnie podcast series. Thank you, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye now.